Welcome to Crossbody of Work. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
The last stop on the extreme road to Philadelphia is here. This week on the podcast, we cover one of Javier's all-time favorites, Stevie Richards.
Oh, I'm so excited. The last few weeks have been a little present for you, but this one is a present for me.
It's a present for me too. I like Stevie Richards.
Yes, but I love Stevie Richards, and that's the
That's fair.
difference. You have a crush on the man. I have a full-on romantic experience with him. So,
That's fair.
it's just one of those things where I can't explain my love for Stevie Richards. I can't quantify it with like, oh, it was this match, or oh, it was this thing when I was this age. I just know that I fucking love Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
And for some reason he's always been one of my guys from when I was a kid to now. So anything Stevie Richards, I am A-okay with, and this was a treat for me.
You are on board. All right. It is a week until WrestleMania, the day that this drops. You should check out our YouTube channel because we have even more WrestleMania content. We have put some throwback episodes up on the YouTube. You can also go find them, but going into the Hall of Fame this year are Bull Nakano and Barry Windham, and we've covered both of them on the podcast. The Bull Nakano episode is live on our YouTube, as well as our draft of the best WrestleMania main events of all time. Check it out on YouTube at Crossbody of Work. Also, check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Crossbody of Work for all of our content. And of course, follow along as we go to WrestleMania 40. We will be posting a lot. And of course, the link, as Javier is showing you on YouTube, the link for the merch is in the bio of the podcast everywhere. It's also in the show notes for the podcast and for the YouTube video. Come be our friend in Philadelphia. We want to meet other wrestling fans. We want to meet people who listen to the podcast. We would like to meet you. So if you're coming to Philadelphia, let us know. Stevie Richards, real name, Michael.
What the fuck? What?
Michael Stephen Mana. That is his name.
Michael Mana.
Michael Mana.
I accept it. No, I actually kind of like that one.
From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So very excited. Hometown boy.
I hate Philly. I don't know why I did that.
You can't say you hate Philly. We're about to be in Philly. You got to be nice to Philly.
Right? I hate New York City. I go to New York City all the time.
Stevie Richards was trained under Jimmy Jannetty at Mike Sharp's, Iron Mike Sharp's Wrestling School in New Jersey, and then did a little bit of ECW. When it was Eastern Championship Wrestling, he kind of did a couple tryout type matches there, did the independents for a couple of years, and then returned to ECW a little later in June of 1994 as Steve Richards, which would not have worked, but Stevie works.
Stevie we like.
After the return, he was given a valet. Her name was Angel. In addition to his in-ring role, Richards actually answered calls on the ECW hotline under the pseudonym Lloyd Van Buren.
Now, that one would have worked, too. Let me tell you something.
Elite level fake name.
LVB?
If somebody's like, hey, what's your name? You're like, Lloyd Van Buren? People are like, it's a weird name, but not too weird. Like, it's perfect level of weirdness to be real.
Are you a descendant of the former president?
Of Martine. At Heatwave, July of 94, Stevie Richards lost to Tommy Dreamer, and then he started to develop an identity crisis. And we talked a little bit about this on the Raven episode, because Stevie Richards started calling himself Steve Flamingo, Stevie the Body, Stevie Polo, all references to Raven's former gimmicks. Then, of course, after a loss to Dreamer, Richards became irate, presented the real Johnny Polo, which was the debut of Raven, and he was the first member and the most prominent member of Raven's Nest, which was, of course, his stable in ECW. At Mountaintop Madness in June of 95, Raven and Richards defeated the Public Enemy to win the ECW World Tag Team Championships. And then at Hardcore Heaven on July 1st, 95, Raven and Richards defeated the team of Tommy Dreamer and Luna Vachon, a fact that surprised us during the Raven episode. That leads to this match, a cage match at Heatwave 95, 2 weeks after that title defense, and it's Stevie Richards one-on-one in a steel cage against Luna Vachon.
This was so funny for so many reasons.
I want to talk about Stevie's entrance theme.
The theme, I was not paying attention to the theme after the look of Stevie Richards when he comes out.
The look is outstanding, but then when you pair it with the theme, it's a great package. His theme is Come Out and Play by The Offspring. which is
Oh,
an elite song.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good track, and honestly fits perfectly for the way Stevie dressed, because he had like the crop tops and band tees and the jean shorts, and he had the flannel around his waist. He looks like if you were like, "Hey, can you give me a stereotypical Seattle resident from 1995?" All right, cool. There he is. I, I'm not wrong.
Just, hey, do you listen to Soundgarden? Have you seen what
Sick.
I'm wearing?
Yeah. Look at me, obviously. Also, the mullet, the level of hair on Stevie Richards,
He
unbelievable.
It is incredible. Like truly, truly incredible. This is a fit right here. It is a fit. It is a look. Everything about it. I'm like, this guy, Vince McMahon would hate everything about him. And that is kind of partly why I love him.
I want you to put Stevie's mullets up against like other wrestling mullets.
That's hard. Pillman, I think, is number one.
Okay, that's fair. What about
Um,
Eddie?
Here's the thing, man. Those Mexican mullets, I have seen. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Those Mexican and like Central South American mullets, I have seen
Yeah.
so many of those throughout my life, just having to deal with East Boston people, that like I'm just desensitized to it. You
Okay, I got
know,
a couple more for you to
it's
think about. Rick
go ahead.
Rude.
Is that a mullet?
It was like it kind of was at the start. He always had a little, maybe a little too much going on in the front, but he had some mullet energy.
It's a little like a Kenny Omega energy for my, it's like a
Uh,
curly.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
That's at the last, dead last, as
Yeah,
far down as it could possibly be. Are we counting
that's.
Bull Nakano? Does she count as a mullet? Because she technically does have hair on the sides for parts of
Uh,
that run.
I would say, yeah, she does. I would say so. Tatanka had a mullet.
Yes, but it's also like the Native American haircut. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like the warrior. I guess the Native American equivalent of a Fedaykin in the Fremen universe.
Shawn Michaels mullet, like
The,
young Shawn.
it's right above Brutus the Barber
Brutus.
Beefcake,
That's fair.
right at the bottom.
All right. What'd you think of the
He gets an
match?
F plus. Luna Vachon, when she came out here, I was like, "Oh, Ivy Nile looks exactly like Luna."
That is a very great comp for modern audiences.
I was like,
If you
Ivy,
shrunk Luna down a little bit, she would look just like Ivy Nile.
but like not the muscles. Keep the muscles the exact same size. Just literally make her, instead of like what was Luna, probably like 5'5", instead of like 5'5", 5'6", make her like 5 foot even.
That's a great
Like
question as to what Luna was listed at.
that is she. It is uncanny. Like especially
Yeah.
right here, she's got the same, pretty much exact same hairstyle that Ivy Nile has, and like I was looking at just the wrestling here. I didn't. Ivy Nile, I must apologize. I was not familiar with your game. She took some inspiration from Luna Vachon.
I think so. Luna 5'6". So yeah, you're exactly right. Luna
I
is
just guessed
all
like the
business.
average height for women.
Stevie's running around, set into the cage. Luna is destroying him. Does this really sick double leg drop at one point? Like you don't see people commit to the leg drop that much. Normally, there's like you usually have like one leg as safety leg almost, and she
Yeah.
just fully swings both legs out. Great neck breaker that Luna has. She loves the neck
Yes.
breaker, and it's really good. Um, Richards gets
Stevie
busted
is
open pretty early.
bleeding.
Yeah.
He's on
Uh,
his Ric Flair shit.
Stevie is picked up at the 2. Luna does not want to pin him. She wants to continue. But then Stevie does a reverse atomic drop to get free and then hits one of the nastiest power bombs I've ever seen.
Yeah. Drops her right on the back of her head.
Runs Luna into the cage and then grabs the legs and just starts choking Luna, who is now bleeding.
Yeah. It's not
I
what you
didn't know
want.
Stevie had that much snap on his power bomb.
He's like slapping her too while he's holding her down, which is like
Yeah. Stevie Richards in the nest was a dick. Like he
some people
sucked.
are into that. I don't know, Evan.
That's
Luna hits a DDT for a near fall, which he's a part of the nest, so he knows how to handle a DDT. That's why he was able to kick out.
He's been hit before.
Stevie does a power bomb for a near fall, swinging neck breaker again. It looks great. Honestly, I thought the second one looked better than the first one, and the first one was incredible.
And then he goes to the top of the cage and dives onto Luna. Luna gets the
Yeah.
boot up in the face, and so she counters that way. Luna then goes to the top turnbuckle, hits a big splash, and again pulls Stevie up at 2. So that's twice now she could have ended the match and just didn't.
She does end the match though. Stevie's down, and she goes to like pretty much between his legs, but like standing up over him, and then just says "fuck it." She looks around the crowd. She just gets the claw out, and she just puts it instead of we're used to seeing the iron claw to the head.
Yeah,
good little, nice
or
little thing.
even the
Worst case,
kidney?
yeah, kidney. Sometimes I think one of the matches we saw a heart thing going. It was probably Papa Shango. But like she does it and she just puts it right on his junk.
Yeah, bend over and cough.
Claw straight to the nards. It lasts 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds before Stevie's like, I'm done. This is done. This match is over. Please make her stop.
Stevie, with the self-preservation of a man who's had some girls be a little too rough with the junk before. He's like, okay, I've seen how this goes. This is not good for the long-term health of my boys. Tapping out.
I like to think that was his way of removing consent. And wrestling was very forward thinking with that because he gave up. He was done. He said, I'm removing myself from the situation now.
If somebody with the strength of Luna Vachon gets a hold of, if she gets a trifecta, if she's got shaft and hangers,
I'm gone, brother. I'm tapping to two hands that are hitting the mat. 2 hands are hitting the mat. You're getting the double whammy. I might slam my head back too for added force.
Yeah, if she's got a hold of the Holy Trinity, I'm out. Right? I'm out, and I don't know if I'm coming back. So Luna wins, obviously, because Stevie taps out, and then after the match, Luna just keeps beating up Stevie. Dudley Boys come out, Pitbulls come out, and then through that, Raven comes into the cage, locks it, and DDTs Luna. So the
clean
Nest
DDT, by the way.
Very clean. She did not have a chance to grab Raven's nuts, and that would have been a whole different situation. So, good match. Very good match. I actually really enjoyed it.
It was fun. It was quick watch.
November to Remember of 95, Richards introduced his own lackey, the Blue Meanie. Very fun. He would also get Nova very quickly after. And then in late 96, so there was some overlap between Meanie and Nova being with Richards and the Nest kind of falling apart because it didn't happen until late 96. Raven was scheduled to team with Brian Lee against Dreamer and Sandman in a rematch for Raven's ECW World Championship. Raven was unable to compete, so Richards substituted for him, and Raven lost the title because Sandman pinned Richards, and Raven blamed him. They stayed together for a while. Richards debuted the BWO, the Blue World Order, which of course is a parody of the New World Order, in November of 96.
He was the bad man, wasn't he?
He was Big Stevie Cool.
Oh, he was right. Who was the bad man? Oh, the bad man was Blue Meanie.
Yeah.
And then I forgot what Nova was.
Hollywood
Hogan,
Nova.
But that's what it was. Yeah.
Hollywood Nova. Later that night in November to Remember 96, Richards inadvertently superkicked Raven during his ECW World Championship bout against the Sandman, and then they continued to kind of feud. House Party in January 97, Stevie had turned on Raven by then and superkicked him again. At ECW's first pay-per-view, Barely Legal, in April of 97, Stevie Richards would face off against Terry Funk and the Sandman for the ECW number one contendership for the title. We have seen the outcome of this match in Raven's two-parter.
Yes, we saw the last 30 seconds of this match.
Yes, so I thought it was cool. I'm going to give you a little space to talk about how fun the BWO are.
Everything about it was so forward thinking in my mind. Like the BWO in like 2017 would have been the coolest shit in wrestling. The
That's
BWO
fair.
today would still be insanely over. Think about how much people love R-Truth, right? Like, not to
Yes.
say that they have the same comedic chops as R-Truth, because R-Truth, I think, is just a generational funny guy.
Yeah.
But like them being put in those like comedic style place, like areas, like fuck, you take the Judgment Day storyline that's going on right now and you have them go up against the BWO. I think it would be freaking incredible. Like you
I think it
take
would
a
be pretty funny.
holy, you build up Stevie for a match against Gunther. You get Imperium versus the BWO, and just like the definition of completely serious and completely unserious. Like I just think they were so ahead of their time. They were just taking the piss out on the NWO. It just worked for me. It has always worked for me. I love Nova so much, and the way that he does Hogan shtick, where every single that man has never fired up a single time in his life. He
But
does it.
he's
He does it. He
tried.
does it. He gets one punch and he's done every single time. It's beautiful. Blue Meanie's incredible. And honestly, I think as far as character work, aside from Right to Censor, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I think this might be some of Stevie's best stuff, was in that comedic space that he had with the BWO.
I think it was also really fun to see come after being in the nest where he was so beholden to Raven, and this was him doing
Yeah.
his own thing with his friends. And I like the way that it kind of developed organically. Also, it clearly worked for everybody else because there's a ton of BWO merch in the crowd. There is a lot of blue World Order shirts out in the crowd. So Big
Well, you
Stevie,
probably have to imagine it's because they're like, oh, screw the NWO. They think they're cool. They're just, oh, we've got the cool ones.
100%. Big Stevie Cool, of course, is here. Sandman is here in some Zubaz pants, a smoke, a cut on his forehead already, a beer, and a side shave mullet. He is 5 for 5 on Trailer Park Bingo. He
I
is
will
fucking
say,
killing it.
well, it's 6 for 6 because he comes in to Enter Sandman. And let me tell you
Well,
something.
that was just part of the
I
part of the set.
I understand that's a part of the set, but for some reason, me hearing Enter Sandman with his entrance this specific time hit me like, damn, Sandman's so fucking cool.
I was gonna say, did you finally get it? Because Enter
It
Sandman
fucking
really
hit.
helps you like solidify. Like I
Damn, I was
get
like,
it
we
now.
did a whole Sandman episode. We heard Enter Sandman in that episode, but for some reason, this specific entrance, I was like, God damn it, this guy's fucking cool.
The last man to enter is Terry Funk, who is immediately so sweaty.
This guy's 53 years old, man. Go think about Paulo Banquero when he was at Duke and how he used to always sweat so much because he had
Oh
that like
yeah,
sweat condition. You know,
I
Terry
I knew a
Funk
guy.
might be that.
I knew a guy who at age I think 15 had to get Botox in his armpits because of how much he sweat.
Oh, I went to school. I went to high school with a guy who had like a sweating problem. I don't know if he ever fixed it or not, or if he just continues to be sweaty. But
Yeah, this guy got
yeah,
Botox injected into his armpits so he would sweat less. It wasn't that it
does that
smelled. It
work?
just yeah, apparently.
Well, doesn't that Botox like wear off
I
over
think he was
time?
gonna have to get it like done repeatedly. But I
Well,
remember
that
like
sucks.
we hung out with him like the day after it happened. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna sweat as much anymore." We're all like, "Good," because you are kind of a mess. Um, I want to
Petito.
talk about the very beginning of this match, and then this is the longest match we covered by a lot. So I want to talk about
Yeah.
highlights. But the first highlight is at the very beginning of the match. Sandman offers his beer to Terry Funk, and Funk very politely declines. He's just like, nah, like I'm good, like I'm here to wrestle, whatever. And so Sandman chugs it and spits it on Stevie.
I also love the added touch that he did it to Stevie.
Yeah,
Not
because
even
Stevie's
back at Funk.
not even involved in the situation. He just turns and spits on Stevie. Um, what'd you think of the match?
I loved the way that they made a three-way dance triple threat match like unique. It was very
Mhm,
much like it wasn't like this the regular formula you see where Funk will be paired with Sandman, and
mhm.
then one of them will get the advantage and they'd go after Stevie, and Stevie would come into the fold and like take that person out, and then it's Stevie and that guy, and then let's say Funk was the one that got on top before. Sandman's back in, now it's Sandman and Stevie, or now Funk's back and he's taking out Sandman, and then Stevie's back. Like they really did make this like it wasn't like a one-on-one on one type situation. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're all in this match together. We're fighting together.
Yeah.
Like for the majority of the match, that's what they're doing is they're all doing offense on each other or they're helping each other out by attacking, like doing a 2-on-1. Like there's never really much of an opportunity for a one-on-one
There's
between
very little
anybody.
rest. Either it's
Yeah.
2-on-1 or it's a one-on-one that is very quickly replaced by another person, or it's like one person ruling the roost for a little bit. Everybody
Or it's
gets their
literally just all of them together. Really.
everybody gets their chances to kind of be impressive. A ladder is involved pretty early. There's a spot where Terry and Sandman climb the ladder. Funk moonsaults off the ladder and barely grazes Stevie Richards.
I
I
love
think a
Terry Funk's
shoelace
moonsault.
hits Stevie in the eyebrow.
Now,
Maybe.
I love Terry Funk's moonsault because he is short every single time because he just does a fucking backflip. He doesn't
Yep.
launch himself to do the moonsault like you're supposed to. He just does a backflip.
Just does the backflip. Um, Stevie in this match, I want to talk about him specifically because I think this may be his best performance in a match. I think it's his highest rated match ever in terms of Big Daddy Dave's star ratings.
I would agree. I think that this match without Stevie Richards is not as like if you swap out Stevie Richards for I don't know Raven or something like
Yeah,
this. I don't think this is as good a match. I really don't because I think that's what Stevie does here is he is kind of the glue as far as the selling of things because
yeah,
Funk doesn't. And I guess we'll talk about that more when we inevitably do the Terry Funk 2-3 parter. Uh, Funk doesn't sell; he just acts dead, which I love.
and then stumbles around.
Yes, and then stumbles around, which I love because it's realistic. And then Sandman doesn't sell; he just kind of dies because he got hit by like lightning. I don't know. Like his Sandman only sells when he gets absolutely abused. Which, to be fair, any offense that's on the Sandman is usually complete abuse.
Yeah,
So Stevie was kind of like the oh. Terry Funk's gonna do a moonsault. Yeah, he's gonna do it to Stevie. Or like I don't know, Sandman's got a ladder. Yeah, he's gonna hit Stevie with the ladder, or he's gonna
yeah,
chuck it at Stevie, or he's gonna go up to the top rope and knock the ladder over and with himself onto it onto Stevie, or like Stevie was kind of the guy who took the brunt of the punishment here, and it kind of like tracks with the story. Like he was again the glue that held the match together. Yeah, he was taking a lot of the offense, but a lot of the stuff I feel like a lot of the match story that happens is just these two guys. We've got the beer drinking hardcore guy and the literal hardcore legend, and they're like, "The fuck is this kid? Let's just beat his ass up."
this weird kid's here. Stevie's best run of offense in the match is he hits a ladder seesaw attack that knocks Funk and Sandman both down because the ladder was draped on the top rope.
Not the worst ladder seesaw we see here.
Nope. And then it's Stevie kick a clock because Sandman gets absolutely tattooed with a Stevie kick. Another one to a very wobbly Funk, but Sandman breaks up the pin. That's the best set of offense that Stevie does, where he looks like he could win the match, which was very realistic because having him go up
Yeah,
against Raven at this point would have been a really marquee matchup. Also, I did check. This is Stevie Richards' highest rated match from Wrestling Observer newsletter, aside from another 4-star. This is a 4-star match. His other 4-star match.
really.
Yeah, his other 4-star match
I would have
is
given it like four. Worst case scenario, like 4.25. I would have gone 4.5.
the other one is the tag titles, and it's when it's Raven and Stevie Richards against the Pitbulls. That's the other one
That was a great match.
that was a very
That
great
was a
match.
great match.
Yeah,
I love his super kick. It's a
it's
great super kick, and I want you to rank his super kick.
okay. I think the thing that makes Stevie's super kick so good is his body type. I think Stevie is the right body type to have a good super kick. He has long enough legs, but also
Yeah,
the hair helps. Like the Stevie kick is so much better when he has his long hair. I don't know, it just looks better. Um,
yeah,
I'm gonna say Sean is one
yes.
because the
Sean's
Sweet Chin
obviously
music
number
is
one.
Sweet Chin music.
It's kind of difficult to. We're gonna remove the Bucks from the fold because it's kind of hard to put one over the other, and you can't put them
I would
both
have
in there
lumped
because
I
that's
would
not
have lumped
cool.
the Bucks as 2.
We're
Um,
removing the Bucks from the equation. That's just what happens when you're brothers.
all
You're
right,
gone.
let's put Stevie at 3. because I think I like, and you may disagree with this, I think I like Dolph at 2.
I don't. I see. This is why I bring this up because I knew this would be a point of contention. I think Stevie's is better.
Okay.
I do. I think Stevie's is better than his, and I don't think that either one of those is number 2. I have an underrated super kick. That's my number 2 personally. Booker T has a great fucking super kick.
I think my problem with that is that Booker T also has a lot of other kicks that are very good. And so I just
Well,
kind
that
of
doesn't take away from how good his super
no, you're,
kick.
no. I think it's a positive for him that's working against him in terms of the super kick being memorable. Like the super kick is Dolph Ziggler's only kick, whereas Booker has the
Yeah,
crescent kick, he has the scissor kick, he has the super kick. Booker T has
he's got
good
them Harlem
feet.
Heat.
He got them Harlem feet. Harlem
He's from
feet.
Houston.
Yes, even though he's from Houston, fuck it.
Other people
Okay,
with great super kicks, Seth Rollins.
yeah,
I don't want to list anyone else really. Carmelo Hayes is a
the
good one.
the Usos.
Usos.
Yeah, the Usos. So let's talk about the other seesaw ladder spot because it fucks our boy Stevie up.
God.
A seesaw ladder gets Stevie so hard in the face that I thought he got Joey Mercury'd. Somehow only a 2 count, but then there's a double power bomb or a power bomb by Funk, and there's a double pin by Funk and Sandman, and Stevie gets eliminated from the match.
Yes, we did not do that catapult ladder enough justice. Sandman's on the top rope. The ladder
Yep.
is set up on the. So let's say my microphone is the rope. The ladder is
Yep.
like this, leaning up on the rope. Stevie's on the inside of it. Sandman does a flying headbutt off the top rope to the upside of the ladder, and literally it launches the ladder. Like it
Yep.
goes into the crowd. Which I don't do they do like could the hard cam pan in ECW? I know it
No,
pans on somewhere. Like
it
I don't know, they
absolutely
could
did
have
not.
just been recording it on like a camcorder on a stand. So but like it like launches into the crowd and they don't show it, which is concerning. I'm like genuinely concerned that probably like concussed a child or some shit. Um
Maybe.
but like yes, it launches with that much force, so you can only imagine what it was like for Stevie Richards, who eats it. He actually does eat it. I like went back and looked frame by fucking frame. He gets hit by it. It's not as clean, and I think it's to like like around his jaw shoulder region, but he gets rocked.
It's a good reason for him to be eliminated because he gets absolutely destroyed. Um, Sandman grabs some barbed wire. Funk does the hockey jersey and pulls Sandman's shirt over his face. Gets some punches. Funk whips the back of Sandman with the barbed wire. Sandman then with a cookie sheet shot. He wraps himself in some barbed wire, starts running into Funk like a fucking psychopath. Uh,
He hugs
Stevie
Stevie.
he does hug Stevie when Stevie comes back, who obviously is hurt because of the barbed wire. There's a Stevie kick on Sandman with a garbage can in his head. Funk hits the moonsault, and probably the best looking Funk moonsault I've ever seen. One,
He
two, three.
crushes that man, by the way. He also hits his
Yeah.
head on the ladder or the trash can, whatever was in the corner there.
Funk would then win the ECW World title in his match against Raven that happened immediately after this match because of interference from Thomas Dreamer. All right.
He's on commentary
We're
for
gonna
like this whole match.
Yeah, and he's got the most annoying generic 2K commentary I've ever heard. He just keeps talking about how Stevie's a competitor, and I was like, "All right, man, relax."
Yeah. All
We
right,
are
Byron
going.
Saxton.
We are going to take a break. When we get back, it's time for the right to censor.
Ugh.
Back from the break. Stevie Richards would leave ECW in May of 1997, partly because he had a match where he suffered a neck injury when Terry Funk slammed the metal guardrail into his back and neck. Afterwards, he announced his retirement from professional wrestling. But I don't know. I think it was a real injury, and that just led to his leaving ECW. He would go to WCW for a cup of coffee. He would do an ECW return at one point. And then in 1999, he joined the WWF full-time, debuting on August 15th, 1999, by helping his BWO partner, the Blue Meanie, win a match against Al Snow. Nothing like your debut being on Heat. The two would form a short-lived tag team, and then Richards adopted an impersonator gimmick. He was an impersonator for a while. He would do the Dudley Boys. He did He
It
did
was
the
great.
Acolytes. He did like
I
a
loved it.
little bit of everything. And then June 26, 2000, on the episode of Raw, he would return with a new looking gimmick, having cut his hair and has a shirt and tie. And Wikipedia says reminiscent of Michael Douglas in Falling Down. Have you seen Falling Down?
No, I don't even know the movie.
It's a fucked up movie. I encourage you to go watch it. Essentially, you know when you get cut off in traffic and you're like, I hate that guy, and you get like that little bit
Yeah.
of road rage. Imagine if your road rage was multiplied by 1,000, but you acted on it. That is Falling Down.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
And you said Michael Douglas is a star?
Michael Douglas.
Watch that tonight.
He started cutting promos about the risque nature of WWF programming, and it was a direct. Essentially, he continued to be a gimmick where he impersonated people, because this time he's impersonating the Parents Television Council, which was publicly criticizing WWF at the time. He became a full-fledged heel by changing his name to Stevie Richards and forming a stable known as Right to Censor. Our first and our only promo is a Right to Censor promo from September 4th, 2000. At this point, Right to Censor has 4 members. It's Stevie Richards, it's Ivory, who was so good in this group.
Yeah.
It was the Good Father, the Reformed Godfather, and Bull Buchanan, your boy.
Listen, Right to Censor kind of sucked, but also Right to Censor kind of fucked.
I don't remember there being a group that had more heat with my brother and his friends than Right to Censor. Because when Right to Censor was coming
tracks.
out, my brother was 16 years old. And they were
Yeah.
like, there's too many scantily clad women. And my brother was like, you shut your mouth. All the other porn channels are
Yeah.
scrambled. You shut your mouth.
We do not have the channels that I need. I need Vince to keep satisfying those urges.
Just watching the fuzzy TV, being like, I think that's a boob. Like, no.
He's
We
probably
need
all in
this.
on DX.
Yes. So the actual promo itself is Right to Censor cutting a promo on how they are going to have a new member, but that new member disagreeing with them in terms of being a new member.
You know, I know they're the baby faces, or sorry, I know they're the heels in this promo, but based off of what happens in it, they became a baby faces for me very quickly. So the Good Father says he's like talking about selective censorship and how it should be embraced, yada 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 yada. Who cares? It's all right. He doesn't really say anything. Then Steven gets on the mic, and my man starts slapping. He says he's happy to say that another man will help clean up an establishment that spits in the face of morality, and that man will help the Right to Censor bring virtue to a business that would rather promote scantily clad women than actual competition. And that man will join them in saying, no more.
I also want to just make sure that we know, because in the clip we got to see that Raw was sponsored by RC Edge this week. An RC Cola had enough money to sponsor Raw in 2000. That sounds absurd.
RC Edge. I only know RC Cola as RC Cola.
I guess this was their cool cola, like Pepsi Max or Coca-Cola with real cocaine. Like this was like their cool cola. Did you Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it?
Well, yeah, that's why it's called Coke.
Yeah. Then that was the coolest cola they had, and now they're lame. So yeah, he says
I love Coca-Cola.
So do I. He says the person who's going to join them is Val Venus. And a reminder, Val Venus sucks in real life. I would like everyone to remember that. That
what
man
is it, Sean
sucks
Morley?
in real life.
Whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah.
Kiss my ass. Dickhead.
Yeah. Support trans people. They deserve the right to life and to happiness and joy and not whatever Val Venus is spouting on the internet. Yeah. So Val Venus comes out. He talks about the freedoms that the people of the country fought so hard for, calls Right to Censor hypocrites for abusing women, which, kind of true. He says he would never join a group that dresses like you geeky Poindexters, a group that wants to dictate what we can and cannot do. Take Right to Censor, stick it where the sun don't shine. There is definitely an edge here and Val Venus has said, like, the reason he wanted to get away from the Val Venus character is because he wanted to be taken more seriously as an in-ring performer. You can tell that he's really putting it on in this promo. Like, this is like his audition tape.
Still not that good.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's just your bog standard promo. Steven just laughs and says, first, he drops the porn gimmick. Then he changes the color of his trunks from black to white. Then he drops. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but the manager of TNA he's talking about him dumping Trish.
A
Uh,
vixen.
yeah, that's what it was. He says Val doesn't see it yet, but they do, and that he
Yeah.
is one of them.
Val Venus says some stuff about how it's the parents' job to do censorship and not the government, which
Which is
honestly
true, but
sounds.
also don't be assholes about it.
It also sounds like exactly what he'd say right now, except he'd be like, "It's the trans ideology," and we'd be like, "Shut the fuck up." Steven says, "If you're not
Doesn't
with
he
us,
hate
you're
gay
against
people
this."
too?
Yeah, he's just the worst. Val Venus would be with Right to Censor by the end of the month. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah, that's the way things go. Right to Censor, in my mind, lasted 4 years. In reality, was there for less than a year.
Yeah, they were done by like early mid 2001.
June 2001. They form in July
Yeah.
of 2000, and by June 2001, they are done. Val Venus would be the last member aside from, or I guess Ivory joined later. So Ivory was not a member at this point. Ivory was much later. Interesting. I thought Ivory was earlier. Val
Well,
Venus would be the first member aside from the Cat, who gets essentially inducted into it for a brief moment. He would be the first member to leave alongside Stephen Richards at the same time. And it just became a tag team of Bull Buchanan and the Good Father with Ivory as their manager. It's kind of what happened
who the
after.
hell wants to see that?
Not a lot of people. Our next match is at No Way Out 2001. It's Steven Richards in a
Thank you.
one-on-one match against Jerry Lawler. So Lawler got attacked by the Right to Censor on SmackDown after Right to Censor interfered when the Cat lost her top. They're brawling and fighting over the right to nudity. If Jerry wins, the Cat will be allowed to get naked. If Steven wins, Cat has to join the Right to Censor. I also want to just share with you
Wow.
this tidbit that I found on their Wikipedia, which is from mid 2000 to early 2001, Right to Censor won at least one match at every pay per view that WWF had.
Well, Ivory was champion.
Yeah, there is a 3-month stretch where Ivory carries, but
So
for every other one, there's at least one Right to Censor member who wins a match, whether it's a 6-man tag, 8-man tag, the tag titles,
yeah,
or
they
the
had the
women's title.
titles. Yeah,
They win at least one match at every pay-per-view, which I was like, that's actually really impressive that they would win for that long.
you don't see that even really nowadays. Like you would, I guess, with the Bloodline, but like
Judgment Day, they lose
never
sometimes.
win.
Yeah.
JD loses every single match. Dom, I guess he wins almost anything, but he doesn't. Actually, not really. But also, like, he doesn't wrestle that often. Finn and Priest are champions, but like, if it's a non-title situation, they're losing.
So a couple things here. Taz joins JR on commentary. Taz in a very cool hockey jersey.
Love that
I
he
like
just
that.
has an entrance. By the way.
It's sick. Lawler's in the old school leopard print singlet. We also get a clip of earlier that night. The Las Vegas Outlaws cheerleaders from the XFL were interrupted by Right to Censor on Heat. I cannot explain to you how much I loved the XFL when it came out.
I do not have any memory of the XFL when it came out.
You were what, 4? So like, yeah, you were 4.
Well, technically, when would they play?
It was a spring league, I think.
Yeah, so I was 3 actually.
All right. I was 8 and I fucking loved it. I was like, more football and it's wrestling football.
Don't you have the Canadian Football League?
Don't get me started. I hate the Canadian Football League. I think it's so
but
bad.
that one but the XFL you were okay with.
Our rule changes are
cannot
stupid. We have 3 downs. We have a bigger ball. It's weird, man.
So I'm watching the matches, right? And I'm watching it without headphones because I'm just home alone, so I don't need them. And it's the Right to Censor song, just the horns.
Yeah.
The alarm thing scared my cat. She was just sitting next to me. Then it started playing, and she like came up to my iPad and was like, "What's going on here?" And then it just kept going. And she was like, "Well, I'm done." So she just left the room.
I mean, I too would leave the room when Right to Censor came on. I think that's fair. This match is fine. It's nothing. It's fine.
Just Lawler doing punching.
Yeah, that's
s-
most of it. There is also a Steven Richards hoe train attempt. He tries the hoe train like the Godfather did. He misses though, and Lawler does 26 right hands in the corner. You know the thing where they count the punches?
yeah,
Lawler did
26.
26.
Followed it up with a bulldog for a near fall. Steven hits a suplex. Ivy distracts Teddy Long, who's the referee, not the GM
Yes.
of SmackDown. So Stevie can use a chair. Lawler just low blows him. Lawler hits 2 DDTs, but there's no pin because of Ivory.
Yeah.
Cat
Cat tries to
distracts
counteract. Yeah.
Teddy. Stevie goes for a title shot, but Lawler ducks and just cold clocks him.
Yeah.
Then he does a body slam to Ivory in the chaos, and Teddy Long's not looking. Lawler ducks another title shot. Um, Stevie wraps him up, pretty much just has him like just holds his arms out and stuff. Cat goes to try to hit Stevie with the title, but ends up accidentally hitting Lawler. Stevie pins him. 1, 2, 3. Cat has to join the right to censor.
Cat gets fucking abducted. Because not only does she have to join the right censor, they run out and they just are like into the van, like just get in the bag.
Yo,
Yeah.
is the van white? Yes, it is.
Just like Wheel of Fortune, the Vanna White. All right. We are going to take another break. When we get back, we see what Stevie Richards gets up to post right to censor. Back from the break. After Right to Censor broke up, Stevie disappeared from TV for a while. He returned to SmackDown to cut a promo condemning The Undertaker for attacking Right to Censor and causing it to disband, which I find funny. It was mainly to lure him out because did you remember Steven Richards was the manager for Chronic during the Alliance? Yeah. He managed them for a match against Undertaker and Kane,
Oh,
and then Chronic got released because they sucked. So that was tough. Steven Richards then would form an alliance with Victoria in late 2002. This is probably where a lot of people saw him as well.
this was also
He
me.
he was essentially mentally unbalanced, and so was she, and so they balanced each other out. It's called teamwork. He often helped to retain the WWE Women's Championship, and around the same time, like 2003, he started calling himself the general manager of Heat, which is a like the assistant to the regional manager type fucking title.
By the way, I was a big heat and velocity guy. So this is when I saw all pretty much exclusively like all of the Stevie Richards content that I consumed was
Yeah,
during the 2003, 2004, 2005 time period of heat and velocity.
it
Well,
was
not
wild.
as much
It was
heat because he kind of like fizzled out and then it was just really velocity.
like it was wild though because they would actually have like storylines on Heat. Like Heat had
Yeah.
like gimmicks and storylines. It was fucking wild.
Velocity was the
Um,
shit, man.
at ECW One Night Stand, Steven Richards would reunite with his BWO comrades and proclaim, "We only have 3 words for you. We're taking over," and then super kicked the Sandman with a Stevie kick. Our next match is from Great American Bash 2005 because the BWO will be drafted to SmackDown or traded to SmackDown, and they would go up against the Mexicools. Couple things I want to talk about here. I still
Go
don't
ahead.
understand why they did the Mexicools like this. It's not great. I thought it was cool, and then looking back, it's not cool. It's not Mexi
They're
cool
so
at all.
good.
They're so fucking good. Where does the BWO rank among impersonation gimmicks all time?
Oh my god. That is a great question.
Because what are the other competitors? Ms. Dow
Yes, Ms.
is
Dow. I mean, there's the fake Diesel and fake Razor.
those are pretty low. Cat impersonated China for a while. That was funny.
There's the fake Macho Man that Sandow also did. There's the fake Hogan that Curtis Axel did.
Never
Um,
eliminated from the Royal Rumble.
it's true.
It's true.
Man,
I think the BWO might be the best impersonation gimmick.
I think as far as parody goes, I would say it's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're the best. I think it's them and Ms. Dow. There's probably some old one that I don't remember or know. Like, remember when Big Show went through his weird identity crisis and was like,
Yeah.
yeah, and
I
like was
love a good
Shokishi?
identity crisis, man. You know, it's like
It's a fun gimmick.
who's someone in wrestling now who could probably go through something like this? Who's been losing a lot lately?
Who
fucking
who would be fun? Is it? I think we haven't really had a women's wrestler do it. I think that'd be a
can't be
fun switch.
established. It can't be an established person. It has to be someone who like
Yeah,
know.
like if there's a women's
So
wrestler who like doesn't have a lot going on, like can we have them just start impersonating other women's wrestlers from history,
what's Dakota Kai gonna be up to when this whole
like
damage
post
control?
damage control?
Oh no, that's not the one. Indy Hartwell.
Indy, yeah. If
Indy when this whole Candace thing kind of blows over and Candace is just a big bad heel on Monday Night Raw. If Indy doesn't align herself with her, which I probably think she will, she could just go have an identity crisis.
Indy should come out dressed as Diesel, she should come out dressed as Deacon Batista. Every heavy in history, she should come out dressed as a
I
different
want to
league.
see her come out as Dexter Loomis.
Yes, I think that'd be awesome if she just started. She comes out dressed as Tyson Tomko one week. We're like, is that
She's pretty
Tyson?
built too, so like she could
Tyson
do
Tomko?
some good stuff.
Does this match isn't very good, is it? It's
It has
fine.
potential. It's just so fast.
It's fast, and it's also like, yeah, it's like 6 minutes long on Great American. I just don't know why it's on Great American Bash.
Also, like, you can't just go out on ECW One Night Stand proclaiming we taking over and then you're fighting the Mexicals on Great American Bash. Like, they come out in tricycles, man.
I will
And
say, Great
Steve
American Bash
drifts the
2000.
ramp. He almost eats it.
He does. Great American Bash 2005 is weird in terms of its
Is
breakdown.
that Cena
Like,
Jericho? Or is that Cena Christian?
this is Great American Bash 2005. Cena's not even on the card. Yeah, the main event is JBL beating Batista by DQ for the World Heavyweight title.
Oh, the split is out. No, I'm thinking 2004 is Jericho. Damn.
Yeah.
By DQ?
Yeah, and then like Ray and Eddie are in their feud where Ray
Yeah.
won, and so that Eddie couldn't reveal the secret about Dominic, and then Eddie didn't anyways because who cares? Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's a heel. Nova and Hoovy start. Hoovy's immediately a bouncy boy, and Nova's like, whoa, 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 brother, whoa now.
Yeah.
Whoa. Blue Meanie hits a corner splash. BWO clear out the ring. Nova is just a Hulk Hogan to a T, which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure Hogan is there at this point. Just on the Raw side of things.
Yeah.
Because of Orton. And then he's just there. He's like, oh yeah. Oh, he's hoking up. He's hoking up.
it.
And then he literally just eats one fucking like nasty spinning enziguri and it's over.
There's also a crescent kick from Hoovy to Nova. Nova gets knocked right down again. He tries to fire up again, just gets knocked down again. Super Crazy comes in. Beautiful basement dropkick by Super Crazy.
So fast. He is so fast.
And then Stevie gets in. And again, people need to remember, Stevie is the most competent member of the BWO. So when he comes in, this is this is the hot tag.
Don't disrespect Simon Dean like that, man.
Oh, I'm a proud prescriber to the Simon system. But you got to admit, Big Stevie Cool was Big Stevie Cool.
Oh, well, yeah. No, Big Stevie. That's what are we talking about? We're talking about a Mount Rushmore talent right there.
Big back body drop, sidewalk slam for a 2. Meanie in, he tosses Super Crazy to the outside. Then we get the finish.
Yeah. Stevie misses a Bronco Buster, which he just goes right into the middle turnbuckle. Like clean into the middle turnbuckle. I don't know what he thought he was doing.
You know how Wile E. Coyote hits poles? Like when he's running after the Roadrunner and he just keeps his hands and legs out fully? Yeah, that's Stevie in the corner. And it happens in multiple matches.
It's great too. I feel like it'd be a more comfortable landing than how people usually sell it too.
Probably. I don't want to test
fully into the turnbuckle cover.
No desire to take bumps. Just no desire.
Well, that sucks because of the two of us. You're the bump guy.
No, well, I'm the manager. I'm not the bump guy.
No, you're the bump guy. I'm the talker. I'm the one talking, bub.
Listen to me. Listen very closely. Look at your head of hair. Look at my head of hair.
Exactly.
Look at your height.
You're the wrestler.
Look at your height. Look at my height.
You're the cruiserweight division, mate.
Look at your athleticism. Look at mine.
What do you mean? You played rugby.
I am the Paul Heyman to whoever you want to be. Okay.
Nah, you're just cruiserweight Arn Anderson, bub.
Oh my god. Yes.
Stevie
We gotta.
misses that. He gets hit with a
Yeah.
moonsault from Super Crazy. Top rope leg drop by Psychosis. 1, 2, 3. The Mexicals win.
Stevie would have some more time in ECW sporadically. There's like a year and a half gap where he doesn't even appear on ECW TV. It's like from December to December to like the next year, he doesn't show up on TV in ECW. Weird.
Waste.
He's released in 2008. February 12th, 2009, he made his debut in TNA as Abyss's therapist, Dr. Stevie. For 2 months, Dr. Stevie's face did not appear on TV as the camera was positioned behind him during the sessions with Abyss and later Daphne. His identity was revealed when he interfered in Abyss's match with Matt Morgan at Lockdown, preventing Abyss from using a chair, which caused him to lose. Dr. Stevie then turned fully heel by being increasingly more abusive in all the matches or all the sessions with Abyss. And then at Sacrifice, Abyss turned on Stevie and chokeslammed him onto a pile of thumbtacks after Stevie threatened Lauren, who was Abyss's girlfriend. They would have a couple more, like little proxy fights, leading to this match at TNA Final Resolution 2009. It's Abyss and Mick Foley versus Dr. Stevie and his old friend Raven. I wanted to ask you, you were watching TNA during the Dr. Stevie?
2009 into 2010 TNA is such a fever dream that I was like in and out. Dr. Stevie was a memory that was locked away and lost to time until this
Okay.
exact moment, like this
That's always
exact
fun.
podcast, which is like, I remember the sessions. Like I
Yep.
remember those being things. He was really good in those moments. Like Stevie Richards probably could have like gone into acting, honestly, if he had wanted to.
Yeah.
Like he's really good at it. But the issue is like, you just didn't it was just kind of like weird. Like it just got progressively weirder and weirder, and then it
It
just
was
like,
Stevie Richards. It was
and then
weird, man.
Foley got involved, and you're like, why the fuck is Foley a part of this? And then it just, Raven showed up, and Raven looked so weird at that stage in his life. Like he had the weird like freaking road dog hair, but like bleach blonde.
Yeah.
Um, and it looked so fucking weird. And Dr. Stevie, man, they had this match. I do not remember this match. I don't even really remember what comes next. I just remember the sessions more than
This is
anything.
the end of their feud. This is the end of the Dr. Stevie feud. Because then after this, Stevie would be a part of Extreme Version 2. So EV
There it is.
2.0.
Yeah.
And so once this feud was over, that's how he transitioned back into being Steven Richards and Stevie Richards and EV 2.0.
For those who need to know what the EV 2.0 is, that's pretty much just the BWO, but they can't say BWO.
No, it's the ECW brand, but they don't have any rights to ECW. Because there were, it was not
Oh, wait,
just
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
so I mean, they do have like a BWO reunion in TNA. It was just like BW 2.0 or some shit like that.
Yeah, so the EV 2.0 is guys like, I think it's Raven, Richards, Dreamer, Rhino, Devon, and Al Snow, and they
And this
put
is
themselves
all
with
before
RVD.
Aces and Eights.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And
Okay,
during the main event Mafia.
let's talk about the crazy spots that are in this match, because there's some weird spots.
Foley plasters both of them with a cane. He does a elbow drop while Stevie's in a tree of woe. Stevie tries to leave. Abyss starts slamming his head off of every single part of the entry ramp.
Yeah, the broadcast booth, the guardrail. Abyss sets up a table, or grabs a table that has already been set up, actually. Has Stevie on the ramp, but Raven breaks it up with a kendo stick because Raven and Foley had brawled to the back, and we didn't know what was going on with them. Raven comes out. Mick is MIA at this point. Raven is biting the leg of Abyss, which is some...
So he's got a burn. That's why.
Yeah, still, I don't care. You can't just bite a man's leg. He is not a chicken.
I mean, technically, you can.
You shouldn't.
You should.
You shouldn't eat a man's leg. He's not dinner.
He did not say anything about eating.
Biting implies eating. All right.
No, biting is no. You've never like, here's no. Here's the thing. You buy a shirt, right?
Yeah.
And you got a tag on that shirt with the little like loop around, like whatever.
Yeah.
You're upstairs. Scissors are downstairs. You're gonna go downstairs, or you're just gonna
I'm gonna go downstairs.
I'm biting that shit off. I'm not eating that plastic either.
Javier advocating for cannibalism on the podcast. Unbelievable.
How did we get here? I didn't know plastic was human.
Stevie with a chair shot to Abyss. Raven has some gasoline. Foley comes back with a full shopping cart, so he was clearly at Target, and runs into Raven. Has Barbie. Hits people with Barbie. That's fun.
Yeah, Barbie's clearing house.
Abyss with a double splash on Raven and Stevie. Foley tries to go for Mr. Sacco that they can't call Mr. Sacco, but Taz accidentally calls Mr. Sacco. And I immediately was like, oh, you're in trouble. There's a long pause on commentary after he says Mr. Sacco where they're like, God damn it, Taz.
Damn it. Foley does hit a stack pile driver, the Terry Funk and or Tony Storm one, however you want to, whatever that one's called. Raven throws Coke in Foley's face. I know it's baby powder, but Coke is a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Abyss does shock treatment, which is you put someone in like a
torture rack,
it's not a torture rack. It's the burning hammer, like an upside down fireman's carry, and then he just sits down. But when he does the sit, he also did a leg drop to Raven.
It was good stuff.
It was good stuff. Raven hits a DDT to Abyss for a near fall, and then we kind of get to the ending sequences.
Richards gets wrapped in barbed wire by Mick Foley, placed on the table from before, and Foley does the Cactus Jack elbow drop from the ramp through the table and through Stevie. Daphne gets in the ring. A chair shot to Abyss does not phase him even a little bit. He goes for shock treatment. Raven counters that into a DDT. Abyss counters that instead into a black hole slam for the 1, 2, 3. After this in TNA, Stevie Richards would do EV 2.0 and do indies to this day. He still does indie stuff. You may have seen him in some things like DDP yoga videos because he does he's in the DDP yoga videos, which I have.
Good
I've
for
tried
him.
some DDP yoga. It's actually really good. He does some podcast stuff. I also saw this on his Wikipedia and I couldn't not share it. In 2011, Stevie Richards pitched a perfect game in MLB 2K11. A promotional contest offered $1 million to the first person to accomplish this, but because Stevie did it before the contest officially started, he did not win the money. Now, Stevie Richards is probably like a decently well-off guy for the amount of wrestling he did, but also like give Stevie Richards his $1 million for the perfect game, you assholes.
That is fucking ridiculous. If he's the first person to do it, screw when the competition starts. He's the first person to do it.
Stevie also in early 2023 had, like he mentioned, suffering a constant high-level back pain following a workout. He then discovered an infection that had reached his spine and quickly progressed to osteomyelitis on his L4 and L5 vertebrae, and that doctor said if it went undiagnosed would have been fatal. He then documented his recovery on social media and believes that the initial infection was a result of a dog bite he suffered from a neighbor's house. So always important to get yourself checked out for these things because it kept Stevie safe.
Get your rabies shots.
What did you think going and watching the career of Stevie Richards?
I love Stevie Richards. I do. I love Stevie Richards. He's a really, really good wrestler, man. And just like so. Here's the thing. My thing that I love most about Stevie Richards, and it's a thing that I will always love wrestlers that do this, is that they don't take themselves too seriously. Like, oh, you're giving me this weird gimmick. I'm gonna give my all to make sure that it gets over. Like if you're giving me, like it's one of the things I love about like R-Truth. It's one of the things I respected about Damien Sandow. It's like it doesn't matter what gimmick, whether serious, unserious, whatever it may be. If you give it to them, they can nail it. And he did. He fucking nailed it. Every single time, every single gimmick, whether weird or not, he gave it 100%, and he was really, really good in the role. And I wish that he had been viewed in a more favorable light as far as his position on the card. I'm not saying that he was ever going to be a world champion. I love Stevie Richards, but I would be remiss to say that like he's a world champion because he's not. I don't think he's a main event level guy. I think he could have had maybe a run at a mid card title somewhere, but even something like AEW, like they have a billion titles. Could I think that he would win something like,
They do have a
I
billion
don't
titles.
know, like fucking there's the TNT title, there's the international title, there's the FTW title. Yeah, he could win an FTW title one day in his life, like a lower level title somewhere, somehow. Like, if he were in Ring of Honor, a TV title run would have been cool. Maybe a pure title run, something like that. Like, I do think that he could have had. There also could have been a lot of compelling stories with him, maybe like getting a little serious and being like, hey, like I want to make something of myself here. Like, I never had the opportunity to be a top guy. I want to try it, and I'm failing, and that's okay because not everyone's going to succeed in being a top guy. But I think that Stevie Richards could have been put in so many positions where he was just not curtain jerking heat.
I think what's cool, probably being Stevie Richards, is people can come up to you on the street and you don't know what they're going to ask you about. Like
Yeah.
to have had that many gimmicks at work to be like, are they going to ask me right to censor? They're going to ask me about BWO. They're going to ask me about the flock. They're going to ask me about EV or Dr. Stevie. Like people, you never know because there's some guys who are guaranteed. Like the second someone was having, they're like, yeah, they're going to ask me about this thing. Whereas Stevie's had such a long and varied career that it could be anything. And I think that's a really cool and unique thing that a lot of people don't have in the wrestling business. Like you got to remember for one thing and one thing only. Uh, whereas Steven Richards has a variety of things.
Yeah.
Plus, he breaks down wrestling stuff on his YouTube still. Like he's still in the business and
He's a
actively involved.
great YouTube guy.
He's a great like mind and he can explain things so clearly. I think that's what it is he's a good teacher because some people are great minds and not good teachers. And Stevie seems to be both. And that's a big compliment because some people are good at it and some people are fucking not.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, next week, it's all WrestleMania stuff all the time. All right. We will be recording. We will be recording episodes after each night of Mania. We might fucking record an episode after Tribute to the Extreme 2, because why wouldn't we?
We
So
might
we might
record
have
an episode at WrestleMania at this stadium. We'll bring
we
a
might record
fucking
an episode
microphone.
wherever we are. So follow us on social media at Crossbody of Work on Instagram and Twitter to be able to see all the stuff. Plus, in the lead up, I'm going to AEW Collision. The night this is airing, I am going to be at AEW Collision. And the Wednesday after, you're going to be at Dynamite.
/Collision.
So we are seeing so much wrestling in the next little bit. Follow us on our socials for all the different content, all the things we're doing. We've got so much on our YouTube, so check us out on YouTube. Hit subscribe. We're around 250. We want to get to 300 soon. That'd be so nice. We'd be like the guys from the movie, 300. Wouldn't that be cool? This is Sparta.
Sparta!
Excellently done. Follow Javier wherever he tells you right now.
On the Twitter machine at JMello Sports. Lob the boy follow. Just like...
You can follow me on Twitter at @7gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. And, join us next week. We're going to have a bonus episode coming up between now and WrestleMania. It is all about the career of Paul Heyman, so make sure to check for that. It's going to be a podcast episode as well as a YouTube exclusive. Thank you so much for joining us. It's time for everyone's favorite part of the podcast. Javier, any final words for the people?
This week on Life Advice with Javier, don't take shit, people. Don't take shit. I don't care what the situation may be. Don't take shit. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's just, like I had a situation arise where, my superior was, kind of being a dingus, so to speak.
A dingus.
He's being unfair to me, and all this other stuff, and I didn't like the way that it was coming off. So I checked it. I was like, hey, like this is the situation. This is what has been done to do it. If you really like it, I was pretty much like, hey, like there's nothing that we can fucking do. If you want the log of emails of all the emails that I've sent already, all the communications that I've had, like I will gladly send it to you. But like I there's nothing I can do. Get off my ass about it. I
Yeah.
didn't say those exact words, but I said it in a professional way. But that's essentially the message that I got across. And he was like, hey, like I'm sorry, like I've just been stressed with other stuff, and I'm sorry that also has run off on you. That's not professional of me at all. I shouldn't have let that happen. Like, thank you so much for your hard work. It seems like we've been stalled with all this and blah blah blah. And guess what? The thing got freaking processed like 2 hours later anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, sometimes you got to check shit and not take it. Like there will never. I will probably have a boss that hates me one day when I enter the real corporate world because like I will never take shit from some supervisor or boss or superior or whatever it is. Like that's fucked up. Like no, because then they'll just keep doing that to other people. Like
Yeah,
don't take shit because it'll just end up being a cycle. If you just take it, then they'll expect other people to just take it, and they'll always view you as someone who can just take shit, and that's not good. Don't do
it's
that.
not
Don't
good.
be that person. Don't take shit. Stand up for yourself because honestly, like you'll be better off in the end of it.
That is sound advice. Look at you. Look at you with sound advice in the Life Advice section. I'm very excited for what the Life Advice is going to be when we're fucking exhausted post Mania. Like,
Don't
we're going to
die, part two.
Don't Die Part 2, Electric Boogaloo is coming. All right. Next time you hear us, aside from the Paul Heyman bonus episode that we recorded earlier this week, you will be hearing us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WrestleMania 40. We are very excited. We're very excited to bring you all the action. We will see you then.
Later.